Hi, friends. This is Jim Bob. The um, the guy that offers advice, former psychologist, also active marriage and family counselor, active alcohol and drug counselor, licensed in Indiana, licensed clinical social worker, formerly licensed school psychologist. I'll let him drop off. I'm getting some white hair, and I'm afraid that the energy level of working 3 jobs per day has caught up with me, so I let the two of the licenses let go of. I still do marriage and family counseling, but only on the phone. And I do addiction counseling only on the phone. And I do clinical social work for free, helping people, directing them to the right sources. So let's talk about the topic. Do you feel numb? Have you ever felt like you're not depressed? You're certainly not high. You don't want to see your friends or anyone. Really, you don't want to leave the house. You're numb. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning. When you used to get up and go to work at 4 or 5 in the morning, like I did at the Ford truck plant in Louisville, or delivering papers for the Courier Journal and Louisville Times in Louisville. Now, is it noon or 1 p.m. when I want to get out of bed? Am I that numb? How come I'm not feeling depressed? How come I'm not feeling any joy? That's what we're talking about tonight, is why is it numbness? What has changed from depression, joy, happiness to numbness? Not feeling anything, not caring if you wake up in the morning. What causes that? A lot of things. I can't name them all. I'm only making this for one topic, and it is if you feel numb, you're really depressed. You don't have to have 10 signs of depression. I don't know if I was the first one that came up with this idea, this theory, or this symptom that depression only takes one requirement, and that is you're numb. You're not necessarily suicidal. You're not suicidal at all. You start wondering why you're here on earth. And I'm going to try to stay out of religious stuff, even though that's one of my fields also. I'm going to stick with being numb and what you can do about it. But I think the main thing I want to get across is, if you're numb, I think you're depressed. Even though if you went to 5 or 10 therapists, they won't even ask you if you're numb. None of them will. I'm the only one I know that ever asked people that. I'm the only one that even, when I got into this field, considered it the sign of depression. I'm the only one I know that actually came up with it as a diagnostic symptom of depression. You don't have to have all the other ones. Okay, I'm not going to go over all the other ones because it's probably included in numbness, and I'm talking about not sleeping or sleeping late. Not wanting to be with friends. Not wanting to even leave the house. Wanting to isolate yourself. We're talking about not hungry. I'll eat only because I need to, or I'm being told to. I don't want to go out on a trip to have fun at a party. We're talking about these type of things that you used to enjoy. Let's zero in a little bit more extreme. You have no reason to get up. That's why you want to sleep late. You want to be away from friends. You don't want to make friends anymore. You think all friends are as bad as the worst people you read about in the paper. You start drinking more. Start smoking more. If you've got other habits that are negative, you smoke more pot, you take more pills. If this is happening, let's bring this straight down to you have no feelings. You're trying to create feelings. You're trying to create feeling better. You're depressed. What you gonna do about it? I wish there was a easy answer. There's not, because we're all different. But what I can offer you is this. For the first time in history, we do have where you don't have to leave the house. Counselors you can talk to. I'm not going to mention any of the websites because there's so many, and just because I mention a website doesn't mean they have the best counselors. I would look under online counseling. If that doesn't work, online mental health therapist, and go to each of the websites, look at the pictures of the people, see if you feel a connection, see what they treated people for, see if they have reviews, and if the reviews are good, see if they specialize in the areas that you're having difficulty in. In this case, numbness would be a start, and the brother or sister of depression is anxiety. Now let me tell you something you haven't heard before, I don't think. Anxiety is more of a problem than depression. I see it as a seesaw. Depending if you're working, depending if it's relationships, if the anxiety goes up, depression will dip down. But if the anxiety becomes too heavy, then the depression comes up. That's just tossing that out to show you the relationship so close between anxiety and depression. A couple other things that nobody's going to tell you. Many of the antidepressant pills that's advertised and given, prescribed, won't work for you. You're fortunate if you are ever given an antidepressant that works for you. I have known them to cause people to feel disassociated. And what I mean by that is they take the pills, they'll sit down, and it's like they're looking at themselves walking around doing nothing. It's like they're outside of their body. Sounds weird, but it's like I know I'm here. I don't feel like I'm here. I can almost feel like there's me on the outside, and I'm doing nothing. I'm just there, or I'm walking. That'd be a better example. Dissociation can be caused by other things, including sexual abuse, physical abuse, at a young age particularly. But in those cases, and I'm off the topic right now, but in those cases, people that suffer such trauma as sexual abuse will put their mind into another state like it's not happening. For example, they won't experience what's happening, or they'll try not to experience what's happening. They'll put themselves on a friend's house, uncle's house, grandmother's house, vacation. And as it keeps happening, they split. Their mind splits and dissociates. That's for another topic, but I mention that because as you take different prescribed pills for depression, you may feel this disassociation that this isn't really you. You know you're sitting down, but you feel like you're out there. You feel like you're out there and you know it's done by the pills. You're not hallucinating. You know it's being done by the medication, and you know the medication is not working for you. That's the point. The medication's not working for you. I've known people that's tried 10 or 12 pills for depression, and they didn't work. Okay, that leaves therapy, counseling as a possibility. That's why I mentioned you can go to the websites. But for free. By the way, if you go to the websites, check the prices too. They're outrageous, up to $150. If you're someone like me, I don't do it anymore. But I've talked to people for free. I'd find it hard to charge over $25 for an hour of trying to help you. If it's a one-shot deal, I'm only gonna talk to you one time, probably be free. That's just the way I am. I'm not rich, as you can tell. Um, do you feel numb? That's what the topic is. I'm not really talking about abuse. I'm not talking about all they call them vegetative signs of depression. I'm a psychologist, so I can tell you what psychologists say. Go over the vegetarian. Okay, the signs of depression, vegetative signs of depression. Why do they have to put the vegetable in there? Maybe because things get worse and they rot. They rot to where you go down to not only being alone, but thinking about suicide, thinking about how you're going to commit suicide, not wanting to talk to anyone, not asking for help. These are vegetative signs of depression. We're talking about right now numbness. That that's a better place to be. If you're numb, you're not thinking about all these other things all the time. If you're numb, you're able to reach out for help. Reach out for help on the phone. See if it's negotiable, the prices of the people that you call that are online counselors. See if they have a sliding scale. Tell them what your situation is financially. They're going to say you can charge it. Don't have a charge card, or don't have your charge card's at the top, or your debit card's used up at the top. You need to do this as low as you can, and you may have some money left on your credit card that you can have a session or two or three or four or five if it's not too high. I know what it's like to have 11 credit cards at $120,000 when I had a huge counseling center and a full staff. And I know what it's like to have gone over the limit or been a day late, and they moved the interest to 29.9% with 29.9% per card, because at that time they had what was called a universal default. All credit cards could find out if you were late and charge you the same thing, which was the highest limit, 29.9%. I was paying $1,200 a month, $1,200 every Monday. I would call every credit card or have my secretary call and see if we could reduce it down, the percentage. And let me tell you this: once they get you, they're not your friend. They're not going to discount you. I think the nicest discount I got was if you maintain paying on time for 6 months, you can talk to us about reducing the rate below 29.9%. This was before the Big Depression, recession, which was 2007, 8, and 9, around that area. That was around that time that that was going on. It's been so long ago. It was like yesterday. As you can tell, this is unscripted. You can tell I don't have notes written down. I'm doing the best I can to share my guts with you and tell you things. And what I'm sharing with you now, I'll talk real low so nobody in the house can hear. I felt all these things myself as a psychologist, as a licensed marriage and family therapist, as a licensed clinical social worker, as an addiction counselor. I know what it's like to drink too much, to cover up all this. I know. But only lately have I identified the numbness that I feel or felt and possibly still feel. Don't want to disclose too much. I'm working myself through that. If you need help, get it. When you need help, get it. I use a lot of self-help books, okay? This is how I deal with it. I have spiritual books and I have self-help books that I get from Amazon or eBay, mostly from eBay. Let me tell you why I buy my self-help books from eBay. They usually are cheaper, always guaranteed. At least the ones I've got always guaranteed. I've only had 2 that I needed to return because of pages being missing. eBay's fast, and most of them include postage. While if you buy from Amazon used books, you're almost going to always pay about $4 postage in addition to the book. I don't know if I helped you, if I gave you any insight, but if nothing I said you can relate to now, put it on the back burner. You're not done with life yet. Put it on the back burner. Every day's different. Every person's different. You don't know what someone's going to do to you tomorrow or what can happen to you tomorrow. We don't know the future. So I'll let you go now. If you like these type of talks, you can always subscribe. I don't have many subscribers. I got 40 something. And normal view range 6, 10, 12. I have one way over 1,000. That's when I was very sick with COVID. Telling how to meet women. I got quite a few on how how to meet women, or how not to be rejected by a woman. And ask for a date, but using a card and a written statement in the card and giving it to her with contact information. You'll never be rejected that way. Do you know why? She's not going to call you up if she doesn't want to date you. That's a bonus for tonight. If you like this and want to subscribe, this is the way I roll. You take care.